Today, we're going to be talking about making it work, the first step of the MVP process. And one of the things I want you to know is that ugly is okay. Handwritten emails might not look as pretty as system-generated reports. However, they do show effort, and it's important that your clients can feel the effort. Quantity creates quality. Quantity is quality. And for our purpose today, we're going to be talking about with the viewpoint that until you've done it, you can't perfect it. You can't improve it. And it's premature optimization to try to do something perfect before you've done something well, especially before you've done something at all. In fact, I have this great quote from Ted Orland's book, Art and Fear. A ceramics teacher announced on opening day that he was dividing his class into two groups. All of those on the left side of the studio, he said, would be graded solely on the quantity of work they produced. All those on the right side solely on its quality. His procedure was simple. On the final day of class, he would bring in his bathroom scales and weigh the work of the quantity group. 50 pounds of pots got an A, 40 pounds got a B, and so on and so forth. Those being graded on quality, however, needed to produce only one pot, albeit a perfect one, to get an A. Well, come grading time, a curious fact emerged. The works of the highest quality were all produced by the group being graded for quantity. It seemed that while the quantity group was busy churning up piles of work and learning from their mistakes, the quality group had sat theorizing about perfection, and in the end had little more to show for their efforts than the grandiose theories and a pile of dead clay. And I absolutely love this quote because it's the truth. You can only get better by doing. And so quantity, or doing something, provides quality in time. So therefore, ugly is okay to start and improve. Don't wait for perfection. Bullets and short sentences are better. Large, flowery text from school doesn't make sense. Bullets and short sentences are the preferred way to communicate. Before we get comfortable sending massive reports, we start with 3 bullets. Using 3 bullets offers a chance to focus on the important. And it decreases the time for feedback cycles until you know what's important for your customer. It helps you show the customer that you care about them. And so we can start with the very, very short and sweet email example. When we're saying in an email, we might say something like, I thought this was a great call. I especially think your insight into blah, blah, blah will help us solve it faster. Here's my call highlights. I have point 1, point 2, and point 3. And you can find the full call summary here, and then you have a link to the call summary or in the meeting notes. And by highlighting those 3 points, you've done a number of critically important things. What you've done is say, I spent my time to pull together my notes and send them to you. In addition to that, I've spent my time to highlight the important items and bring them to your attention. And I've done it in a nice, clean way so that you can forward it on to somebody else in your organization and that they can quickly digest what happened. In addition to that, and it's a very minor thing, but you've given them a little bit of brown nosing where you highlighted something that they added to the call at the very, very beginning, which helps them look good. And it's nice. It's a nice little thing to do. And maybe they'll decide to use it and set it off inside of their organization because it makes them look good. Do you want to brown nose every single time? No. But this kind of meeting summary is a very, very short and sweet approach to highlighting something important and potentially having them send that off within their organization to extend your reach inside their organization. Now, Slack. Now, we'll talk about an example with Slack, but this could work with any chat system, and we'll talk about best practices for a chat system next week. For your chat system, you should have an account channel. For a hypothetical June account review for a particular account, you might send something like this. You should post something like this in that dedicated account channel. June account review, link to the actual meeting notes. Meeting highlights, you'd say point 1, point 2, and maybe if a decision was being highlighted, we make sure to note that there was a decision and then what the decision was. And this is a very nice way of informing somebody that has access to the channel that we had in account meeting. You're providing them with the key points that were made and any decisions that were made from inside the meeting highlights so that they can be made aware and understand what's going on, as well as have the context to see the further information if necessary. This allows everyone to be on the same page, and it also enforces the idea of a very short, sweet summary. We're making it work. This is all that you really have to do, and I have to get the high points from the meeting. But you can drive them to the rest and the further points later by including the link. So to that end, AI is your friend. One of the biggest things when I do executive coaching is teaching people to edit, not author. This is a critically important idea. An example of one of the things I used to teach people to grow their careers is that you have to learn to manage up. Your boss is busy. They are stressed out. They already have a ton of problems. They are dealing with decision fatigue and general mental fatigue. They don't just want problems, they want solutions. So if you have a problem, you can say, hey, I've identified this problem. I've identified these 3 potential solutions. In addition to that, I believe this is the right solution for us to do, and we should do it for these reasons. Well, while that's a critical skill for growing a career, it's also a critical skill for dealing with customer scenarios. So that way, the boss or client can go, yes, I agree, or they can edit the potential solutions. Well, AI is a huge enabler. It enables everyone to edit and not author at all times. So in this case, we might have our meeting notes that we took live. We can just put them in it and call it a day. But we can put them there and say, hey, in this example, we'll actually use this cheat sheet. Follow the following steps. Analyze the meeting. Write 2 or 3 short sentences. Write 3 to 5 bullet points of the most important meeting highlights and include a hyperlink for the meeting summary. So we just literally copy and paste and we put it in there and we get a potential quick summary email. And again, depending on security or which AI systems you use and everything else, this may or may not be relevant to you, but I've added this cheat sheet here to this video so you can use it and you can see it and you can learn and adapt it to your use case. AI is fantastic for summarization. Just make sure to edit the answers as necessary because it isn't perfect. Speaking of which, perfection is the enemy of done, and I kind of highlighted that a little bit already. It's better to have consistent B's versus getting A's and C's and averaging to a B. It takes 20% of the effort to get a B, and consistently good enough is better than inconsistently good. With clients, your clients want consistency, and we talked about that with the McDonald's example. McDonald's is great because it's consistent in all of its burgers, right? Well, the same thing with Burger King with that other example from Bradley Cooper. What is a problem is sometimes giving somebody's McDonald's quality and sometimes giving them a Ruth Chris steak. You're going to get disappointed with the burger if you've just had a Ruth Chris steak the week before. And if you can't deliver the steak every time, you've set yourself up for a problem. You want to provide consistently good results. Perfection is the enemy of done, which means if you can't consistently give somebody a good steak, you're going to continue to try to burn your time, money, and energy to figure out how to give them a steak every single time instead of creating a process to deliver the McDonald's quality hamburgers. It's better to do that and then improve over time. And there's this comment from Paul Graham from Y Combinator, who said this: do things that don't scale. When Paul Graham said it, what he meant is that as you're scaling an organization, when you're early on, and especially if you take in funding, you can afford to take shots and do things that just don't make sense. And I think there was an example from Airbnb when they first started, and they were having a really hard time getting people to use it. And they realized that photography was critically important to making the listings work. And so they wanted people to understand this. And so I think they hired photographers and sent them out to some of the listings. There's no way they were going to make money back on those individual investments. But what they wanted to do was set the tone so that people with good photography ended up with better listings. And everyone else could understand that and learn from it. And then everyone did realize that they could make money on Airbnb, and the photos needed to be part of their process. Well, when I say it, I mean scale is like a watch with batteries. When you build a watch with batteries, you can have a very good watch that keeps very good time. And unscaled is like a finely built custom timepiece. The watch with batteries is boring, just like we talked about earlier, and that's typically a good thing. To be able to scale, you cannot afford to handcraft every single piece. However, until you've tested that your clients want to watch, that they can, and they want to keep track of time, you can afford to build a single timepiece one-off, then test it. See if it works. See what the clients actually want. If what they want is the ability to tell time, then you can use that one-off MVP watch and realize that you should be investing in building the watch with batteries so that you can scale and you can do things better. Thank you and have a nice day.